Hey there everybody, we're going to do something a little bit different for this video. We're going to be doing a Bookie Babe book review, but I thought we might as well do a little get ready with me while we do it. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Caitlin, your geek girlfriend, and I am happy to report that the book that I'm going to review is book number 7 for the year, which is great. I'm feeling really good about the amount that I'm reading, and I'm getting through books relatively quickly. The one that I'm going to review in this video was a slower read for me, but we'll talk about all of that in a minute. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. This is my Bookie Babe book review series, and every time I finish a book, I drop a review here for you guys all to listen and add books to your TBR list and all of that. And today we're going to be reviewing Searching for John Hughes, or everything I thought I needed to know about life I learned from watching 80s movies. So this is actually a memoir, so this one does check off a nonfiction book for me. And like I said, if you're new here, my goal this year is to read 24 books because it's 2024, and this book is number 7, and my goal also is to have 6 of the books be nonfiction books, so that would be 25% of the books this year be nonfiction, and this one hits that because it is a memoir. So lost my train of thought. Okay, so anyway, book number 7, it hits the nonfiction piece, so I get to check that off. So now let's talk about the book in general. I picked this book up used, and hello, Remy always finds a way to get into these book review videos. I picked this book up used, and I was drawn to it immediately because it has The Breakfast Club on the front, and if you know anything about me, you know that The Breakfast Club is one of my absolute favorite movies, if not my favorite movie of all time. I absolutely love it, and I'm a big 80s movie fan, so a lot of the references in the book, like he references Ferris Bueller a lot, references Pretty in Pink a lot, references 16 Candles a lot, like all of those John Hughes Brat Pack movies. I have seen all of them, and I really enjoy them. So when I picked this book up, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to love this book because I love 80s movies, and unfortunately, that was not necessarily the case. It took me a really long time to get into this book. It had a very slow start, and then I would say I was easily in page like 140, 150 before the ball kind of started rolling, where I was like, okay, I kind of see where this is going, and it definitely was not about John Hughes and not about 80s movies. It was Jason Diamond's kind of life journey and him realizing that like life is not a movie. And so it's very sad in some parts, it's very raw in other parts, and it just was not what I was expecting. I am a completist. I don't like to leave things unfinished or to not finish things, but I almost put this book down and walked away like 3 different times, and I just kept telling myself like, no, give it a chance, it might get better. And I mean, in a way it kind of did, but it didn't deliver the way that I wanted it to. So if you are following me on Goodreads, then you will read my full review over there, and I gave this book a 1 out of 5 because I did almost put it down and not finish it. The writing style was fine, and in terms of a memoir, it was fine. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and I wanted, like, when I picked the book up, I thought it was going to be a lot about the Breakfast Club, and it really wasn't. There were very few references about the Breakfast Club, actually, so I was just a little bit disappointed overall. Now looking back, and now that I know what it's about, it makes sense now, but it still was not something that I'm, like, gonna go recommend to a lot of other people. But I will say, if you like 80s pop culture, then you will get a kick out of some of the references. And I mean, it does have that hard-hitting message of like, life is not a movie. So if you are very attached to certain movies or you like to find meaning in movies. Like, this is kind of a reality check of like, yeah, life's not a movie. So yeah, overall, just not what I was expecting. And for a pretty small book, it took me way too long to read. Like, I started this book on February 3rd, I think, and I did not finish it until like last like Sunday, like the 20th or something. So it took me a full 2 weeks to read it, even though it was a pretty short book. However, I do think it hits the 300 page mark if you are in a book club or are setting like a page goal for yourself. This one does come in right under 300. So it does have that going for it. But otherwise, this, I wanted it to be like, I wanted this to be like an 80s movie in a book, and that's just not exactly what it was. It was more like, oh, you know how Ferris Bueller does this? Yeah, well, that's not what happened to me. Or like, I thought that Ferris Bueller what showed me blah, blah. That's not how life is. So it was just kind of a raw hitting experience and him kind of recounting all of these realizations throughout his life. And yeah, it just didn't meet the mark for me. So overall, I would give this book like a 2 out of 10 if we're equating it. Usually I do like 1 star on Goodreads to 2 points here, but I'm not gonna be running out and recommending this to a lot of people. I did list it on eBay, and there were like several other listings of it for like decent amount of money, like at least $253, which is more than I paid for it, to be completely honest. So I did, I was reading it at a meet, and another judge was like, oh, I think I've heard of that book, or like, I don't know why that sounds so familiar to me, but it does. I don't know. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Searching for John Hughes, book number 7 for the year. So overall, I am making good progress towards my goals, but this one just didn't hit the mark for me. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different format of a video today, and watching me kind of get ready and get dressed and all of that. So thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video.